The Crusades, a series of holy wars, were born from a fervent call to arms by Pope Urban II. It was the end of the 11th century, an era of deep religious fervor and burgeoning power struggles. The Christian lands of Europe were rife with conflict, but a common cause was about to unite them in an unprecedented way. The stage was set by Pope Urban II, the spiritual leader of Western Christendom. In the year 1095, he issued a rallying cry that would resonate across Europe and beyond. He called upon the knights and nobles, the peasants and the clergy, to embark on a holy mission, to liberate the sacred city of Jerusalem from its Muslim rulers. His words echoed in grand cathedrals and humble village churches alike, painting a picture of a holy land in peril and a Christian duty to save it. The promise of spiritual reward was a potent lure. The Pope offered indulgences, a guarantee of absolution from sins and the assurance of a place in heaven, to those who would take up the cross. Across the continent, men and women of all ranks responded to this call. They left their homes, their families, and their old lives behind, driven by a potent mix of faith, the desire for adventure, and the promise of eternal salvation. The rallying cry of Deus vult, God wills it, became the battle cry of this holy endeavor. The goal was clear: reclaim Jerusalem, the city where Christ had lived and died, the spiritual heart of the Christian world. The path to it, however, was fraught with challenges, stretching across thousands of miles and foreign lands. But for these zealous crusaders, the dangers of the journey were but a trial of their faith, a test they were willing to endure for the promise of heavenly reward. Thus, the stage was set for a conflict that would span centuries, forever altering the course of history. The Crusades had begun, a series of holy wars that would shape the medieval world, and whose echoes can still be felt in our world today. With the call to arms echoing across Europe, an arduous journey began. From the shores of the Mediterranean to the deserts of the Middle East, knights and peasants alike set forth on a mission that was as much about spiritual redemption as it was about territorial conquest. Imagine the scene: thousands of men, women and children, leaving behind their homes and the life they knew, embarking on a journey fraught with uncertainty and danger. They traveled across treacherous mountains, uncharted seas and inhospitable deserts. The journey was long, the conditions torturous, and the dangers ever-present. Yet they pressed on, driven by a fervor that was as much about religious devotion as it was about the promise of adventure and glory. Their faith was tested at every turn. Disease, hunger, and the harsh elements claimed many lives. But it was also a journey of endurance and resilience, of camaraderie and shared hardship. The Crusaders faced these challenges with the belief that their sacrifices would earn them a place in heaven, their ultimate reward. This was not a journey for the faint-hearted. It demanded courage, fortitude, and unwavering faith. It was a journey that would change the lives of those who embarked on it and leave an indelible mark on the world they left behind. A perilous journey driven by faith led them to the gates of the Holy Land. In the Holy Land, the Crusaders faced fierce resistance, leading to pivotal battles and sieges. The intensity of the conflict was felt most profoundly in the siege of Jerusalem. This was not merely a military expedition, but a test of faith and endurance for the Crusaders. The city, sacred to both sides, fell to the Crusaders in a brutal siege that lasted less than a week. Jerusalem's fall marked a significant victory for the Crusaders, but it also ignited a flame of resistance among the Muslim forces. From the ashes of defeat, a new Muslim leader arose, Saladin, who would become the Crusaders' most formidable adversary. His tactics and strategy culminated in the Battle of Hattin, a turning point in the Crusades. The Crusaders, parched and exhausted, were no match for Saladin's well-prepared forces. The Battle of Hattin marked the beginning of the end for Crusader control in the Holy Land. Despite these setbacks, the Crusaders managed to establish a network of fortresses and strongholds across the region. These castles, like the formidable Crac de Chevalier, served as bases for further campaigns and as a symbol of Crusader presence in the Holy Land. These decisive battles and sieges would define the course of the Crusades. The victories and defeats, the heroism and the horror, all contributed to a conflict that would shape the medieval world and echo through the annals of history. Amidst the conflict, life during the Crusades was a blend of hardship and cultural exchange. Imagine a world where knights from distant lands lived alongside local populations, each day a negotiation of survival and understanding. Crusaders, once they had journeyed thousands of miles, were plunged into a world vastly different from their own. They had to adapt quickly, learning to navigate the unfamiliar landscapes, climates, and cultures of the Middle East. The daily life of these crusaders was filled with challenges. They had to maintain their fortresses, manage their supplies, and prepare for the constant threat of battle. Yet they also found time to interact with the local populations. Despite the language barriers and cultural differences, these interactions led to an unprecedented exchange of ideas and traditions. From food and clothing to arts and sciences, the Crusades became a bridge between the East and the West, each side influencing and being influenced by the other. Eastern spices started to flavor Western cuisine, Arabic numerals replaced Roman ones, and Eastern philosophy and science began to permeate Western thought. But this cultural exchange was not without its consequences. Local communities were disrupted, social structures altered, and economies strained. Yet amidst the turmoil, new societies emerged, marked by a blend of Eastern and Western traditions. The Crusades were not just about conflict, but also about the profound cultural exchanges that occurred. It was a time of both strife and synergy, a chapter of history that shaped the world as we know it today. The Crusades left an enduring legacy that reshaped the medieval world. These series of holy wars, fueled by faith and ambition, had far-reaching consequences that went beyond the battlefield. They initiated profound changes in the social fabric of medieval society, breaking down feudal structures and birthing a new middle class. The Crusades sparked a commercial revolution, establishing new trade routes that connected Europe to the wider world. Goods, ideas, and knowledge flowed along these routes, fostering a vibrant exchange of culture and technology. The Crusaders' contact with the advanced civilizations of the East brought back a wealth of knowledge, influencing European thought and sparking what would later become the Renaissance. The Crusades also left an indelible mark on the world's architectural heritage. Crusader castles, churches, and fortresses, many of which stand to this day, are testament to the enduring influence of this period. These architectural wonders are a fusion of Western and Eastern styles, reflecting the cultural exchanges that occurred during these tumultuous times. The Crusades, for all their controversy and conflict, were a catalyst for change, driving the evolution of medieval society towards the modern world. They opened up new horizons, stirred the imagination of the West, and left an enduring legacy visible in our society, culture, and built environment. The legacy of the Crusades continues to resonate, shaping the world we know today. The Crusades, a journey through time, were more than just battles. These holy wars, spurred by Pope Urban II's clarion call, united knights and peasants alike in a quest that transcended borders and seas. A quest sparked by faith, ambition, and the promise of salvation. The journey to the Holy Land was fraught with peril, traversing landscapes as diverse as the people who embarked upon it. This era was defined by fierce battles, sieges, and the dramatic fall of Jerusalem, moments that remain etched in the annals of history. Life during the Crusades was a complex tapestry of hardship, cultural exchange, and profound societal shifts. The impact of these wars extended beyond the battlefield, influencing trade routes, architecture, and the very fabric of medieval society. A pivotal moment in history, the Crusades left an indelible mark on the medieval world, a legacy that endures to this day.